You see, for far too long, other internet reviewers have been coming on my show and making me review things I don't want to. Hagen, Renegado, some other people I'm sure, but now I'm gonna force someone to do it myself. And the best part is, I got him at half price because he went crazy at a convention. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you... You're not Owen Citizen.
How kind of you to notice.
Anyway, Hobgoblins 2. Hey kids, remember the first Hobgoblins movie? No? Well, long story short, Muppets from space make your dreams come true and then kill you with it, ironically. It was made on a budget of about $357 and ends with the titular groovy ghoulies getting blowed up real good. Not that you need to know any of that, because this movie gets the premise completely wrong and shits all over the legacy of Hobgoblins 1, even though this was the dream project of the guy who made the first film.
I don't know, I actually kind of like it.
You're going to hell! And after opening credits that go on for about as long as it took the Titanic to sink, we open with...
A Let's Play of Pumpkinhead 2.
Well, I'm so glad that vital piece of cinematography made it into the final cut. We meet our heroes, who are kind of the characters from the first film, except not really, because this is 20 years later, except they all have the same names, personalities, and dress sense as the others, except that the originals were painful eyesores even by 80s standards.
I think it's a nice idea. It kind of spoofs the fact that horror franchises basically have the same exact characters from film to film anyway.
I never bothered to learn any of their names, so we'll call them Colonel Boring, Frigid Frida, Army Jerk's Bird, and Captain Horny. Our heroes are all going to the same college for no adequately explained reason, and they're all studying mental illness for no real reason other than to reunite them with Old Man Withers from the first movie, who was chucked in the loony bin because, surprise, surprise, nobody believed him when he said he blew up the studio to kill a bunch of Muppets. Now, see if you can get a rough feel for what this movie is like. The old man tells them about hobgoblins, they don't believe him, the hobgoblins get loose, reality gets all kinds of fucked with, and it's up to the power of friendship to save them. Yes, Virginia, this movie is incredibly stupid.
But while this film has the same basic plot as the original, there are a few differences. In the original, the hobgoblins made your wildest fantasies a reality. Which is why we were treated to such scenes as the guy in pink shorts hooking up with the phone sex lady who pretended she was at the zoo.
Now hurry before the zookeeper comes. Help me hide this iguana on my body.
And another scene where we learn that the hero's prudish girlfriend secretly wanted to be a club dancer.
Yeah, Hobgoblins was kinda weird.
But in this version, they make your wildest nightmares come true, and you have to defeat them by conquering your fears.
Which basically means that the Hobgoblins have returned to the Boggarts from Harry Potter. Which, you know, it's fine. It's fine, except for this one small detail, just small, that it completely fucking contradicts the first movie.
The main issue most people seem to take with Hobgoblins 2 is that it never seems to decide whether it wants to be a straight-up sequel to the original, a loving parody of it, or a straight-up comedic sequel to the fictional version of Hobgoblins that humanity seems to have concocted in its head.
Either way, it succeeded at neither of these things. What?
Didn't the Agony Blues used to be a recap site? What's with the stand-up routine?
Oh, what, you'd rather I went into loving detail about scenes like this?
Then he told her to put her feet in the stirrups. For the first time, she knew what it meant to be a wet nurse.
Okay, no, but I think there are some genuine sparks of satire here. Take the sexy nurse character. Clearly this film is aware of all the standard sequel cliches and is spoofing them for all they're worth. It's kind of like Citizen Toxie, actually.
Really? You just made that comparison? And what's with the fucking Girl Scout character?
Aren't you a little young to be out at this hour?
Aren't you a little skanky to be dressed like that?
I get trying to do shout-outs to the original, but that scene was in the original Addams Family movie and not Hobgoblins.
You know what? I think you're just avoiding the details because you don't want to admit that the story is very well structured. The kids meet McCready, who seems to be the only one who remembers the events of the first film. McCready kidnaps What's-His-Face, the plot gets set up, wacky hijinks ensue, and the kids defeat the Hobgoblins and get rewarded with a costume change.
What are you staring at?
Amy, are you borrowing Daphne's clothes?
No, but I like it.
They even get a few zingers.
How did any of you
get into college in the first place?
All my tuition.
Rich parents.
Cheated on my SATs.
Slept with the admissions director.
My fault for asking.
You know what? You're right. I have been dancing around the main issue.
Thank you.
And that issue is... they reused the puppets from the first movie.
What?
Yeah, those stupid stuffed gremlins that Mystery Science Theater 3000 referred to as Sniffles, Bounce, Bounce, and the Claw? Well, apparently after being stuffed in an attic for 20 years, they brought them back. I mean, I know they were trying to save money, but Jesus. It's the 2000s. Find a fucking prop maker online and ask if you can have a discount. Hell, my show has better props than this.
You don't use props.
Go to hell! Setting aside everything else, Hobgoblins 2 just doesn't get Hobgoblins. I mean, the original wasn't exactly Demented Death Farm Massacre, but it took itself at least a little seriously.
But, Mendo, half the reason people wanted a sequel in the first place was because the original was just so goofy. If this film had tried to be a serious sequel, it would have turned into a Leprechaun movie. Hobgoblins 2 is a harmless bit of fluff, and you're kind of being a jerk for hating on it as much as you are.
You know what? Fuck it, this review is cancelled.
Truth is, this movie's very stupid. I was just saying that to annoy Mendo. Catch you later.